Increasing versus level death benefit. Which one is better? In this episode, I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of an increasing death benefit with an IUL policy versus a level death benefit, and when you should use an increasing death benefit and when you should use a level death benefit, and also when should you switch from the increasing death benefit to a level death benefit, which is what you'll want to do 99% of the time at some point in a person's life if they're using IUL for living benefits. So get ready. You're going to be blown away. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets, minimize taxes, and empower what I call their authentic wealth. I've been very blessed in my career thus far to have authored 12 best-selling books. And my most recent book that's been flying off of our warehouse shelves is called The Laser Fund. Laser is an acronym that stands for Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. A laser fund is a properly structured, maximum funded indexed universal life. And so a lot of times people will ask questions, well, okay, I'm beginning to learn about this indexed universal life. Which death benefit is best? The increasing death benefit or the level death benefit? And the answer is, well, that depends, okay? But sometimes people latch onto cliches like, oh no, level is the devil. And I just go, oh dear. They don't know what they don't know. Okay. So let's talk about the difference between increasing and level death benefit. Let me define them first of all, and then let's talk about which one is best in the type of circumstances when you would use this one versus the level death benefit, okay? Now, an increasing death benefit means that if you take out an indexed universal life insurance policy, and let's say the death benefit is $1 million, to keep it simple. You can extrapolate from that number if your policy is higher or lower than that. But if it's $1 million death benefit, and again, if you're using it for tax-free accumulation of money as an alternative to IRAs and 401ks, you're using it for living benefits. You're going to use the tax-free accumulation and tax-free income, okay? This is where most people who have ever come to me, they didn't necessarily want or need more life insurance. What they wanted was a financial vehicle that was far superior to putting money in the market in tax-deferred IRAs and 401ks. Because if you properly structured an IUL policy, it accumulates your money tax-free. You can access that money tax-free. When you die, it blossoms and transfers tax-free. So most of the time, you're taking the least amount of insurance the IRS will let you get away with, and you're putting in the most premium the IRS allows, because you want this to turn into a tax-free cash cow, so that down the road, for every $1 million of cash value in the policy, that you can, generate 80, 90, 100,000 a year of tax-free income for as long as you live, even if you live to be age 120. Well, unfortunately, many IUL policies cannot generate a 10% payout without depleting principal because they're structured wrong, because they were started with an increasing death benefit and never switched over. So I want you to listen very close to the differences here. Increasing death benefit means as I pay premiums into the policy, now I don't care if I'm paying minimum premiums of $500 a month, or $1,000 a month, or $100,000 a year. Most of my clients have been, age 55 to age 75. And so they're usually maximum funding the policy within 5 years under the TAMRA tax citations, okay? So they're putting in $100,000 a year for the first 5 years, and now they've maximum funded it. They're not allowed to put any more money into it. And so what they want is that $500,000 to double thereafter every 7.5 years is what I've averaged at a 9.6% average rate of return. If you understand Rule of 72 math, if you're earning 9.6%, and I've averaged 9.62 ever since 1980, your money doubles every 7.5 years. So what you're really wanting is that cash value, that 500,000 to double to $1 million in 7.5 years, and then that million to double to 2 million in another 7.5 years, and what have you. It also means that you could, with every $1 million of cash value down the road at retirement, you can pull out 80, 90, 100,000 a year, especially if you do it the smart way using index loans. You want to generate tax-free income without depleting principal. That means you're wanting to squeeze down the costs as low as possible. If you use the increasing death benefit, your costs will constantly go up. Why? Because with the increasing death benefit, it sounds attractive at first, because if I'm paying $500 a month or $1,000 a month or $100,000 a year, and I happen to die, then all of that premium that have been going into the policy where you're overpaying, okay, that accumulates cash value. And that cash value is added on top of the original death benefit. So let's say I died when I had $200,000 of cash value, and the original death benefit was $1 million. Well, if I die, they're going to pay out $1.2 million tax-free. Yeah, and most people just go, well, that's the smartest way to go. You're going to maximize what you leave behind. Well, true, if that's what you're trying to do, but most people were not really interested in trying to maximize what they left behind. If they did, then I would use that. But most people said, no, I want the cost of the insurance to get cheaper as I get older. Now, most people say, I've never seen a life insurance policy that gets cheaper as you get older. Well, that's what happens with the level death benefit. Because instead of having the cash value added on top of the original death benefit, which means what? The cost of insurance per thousand of death benefit goes up every year you get older. Hello? That's like every insurance policy, whether it's whole life, universal life, or term, has a term component in it, the actual mortality cost. And the cost per thousand of death benefit goes up every year you get older. And so if you use an increasing death benefit, you are having to pay for the original death benefit, that $1 million, and that's going to get more and more expensive as you get older. And this is why many critics say that's going to crash and burn down the road. Yeah, so the increasing death benefit sounds attractive, but the only time, generally speaking, I would use the increasing death benefit is for a younger person, maybe in their 30s or 40s, that's taking out an IUL policy, and they're only starting out at like $500 a month, some monthly premium. They don't have any lump sums going in. They're not going to fund it in 5 years under TAMRA. Then you use the increasing death benefit, and you will then, if you happen to die, the insurance company would pay out the original death benefit plus the cash value on top. Now, that's okay, but hear this. If that's what you start out with, but you're using the policy primarily for living benefits, hoping to live, and at age 60 or 65 or 70, whenever you want to start turning on tax-free income, if you want the highest amount of income and the least cost, if you want the cost of insurance to now get cheaper as you get older instead of more expensive as you get older, then the cost per thousand goes up, but the amount of thousands that you're actually paying for a death benefit will start to go down under the level death benefit. So here's the general rule. If you started out with the increasing death benefit at age 35 and you stop paying premiums at age 60 or 65, you should immediately switch to the level death benefit if you're trying to maximize the amount of tax-free growth and tax-free income, okay? Otherwise, it's going to get more and more expensive. And if you're trying to use the cash values for income, this is not. This is going to create a policy that actually gets cheaper as you get older. I'm going to explain this in just a second. This one is going to keep eroding away a lot of that cash value. So there's this adage out there that is just this general cliche. Oh no, level's the devil. What? No, it isn't. Now, it actually helps you when you're ready to stop funding the policy. So let's go to the other scenario. Most of my clients throughout 5 decades have been people age 55 to age 75 or older, up to age 80. And so they would come to me, and it wasn't necessarily because they wanted or needed more life insurance. They wanted a financial vehicle, a capital accumulation tool that would knock the socks off of putting money in traditional investments, especially in the market, in tax-deferred IRAs or 401ks, where they would have to earn 15 or 16% in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k to net the 9 or 10% that I was netting them in their indexed universal life, okay? And so they wanted stability, liquidity, safety, rate of return. They didn't want their money at risk in a volatile market and what have you. That's why they chose indexed universal life. So if their objective was to have the best net internal rate of return, and they were 55 or 60 years old, and they were going to fund a $1 million death benefit policy that was dictated under TEFRA and DEFRA, that the minimum death benefit was $1 million because they wanted to reposition $500,000. And so a lot of agents don't understand this. If they wanted to reposition $500,000, they have to comply with TAMRA so that they don't mess up the ability to turn on tax-free income. So they have to avoid a MEC, a modified endowment contract. So generally speaking, they could put in maybe $100,000 a year for 5 years. Whole life, you have to spread it out over 7 years. But with indexed universal life, most of my clients said, okay, I'm going to maximum fund this as soon as the IRS allows me. So we put in $100,000 a year for 5 years. Now they've put in $500,000. Now see, under increasing death benefit, that means 5 years down the road, if they were 55 when they started at age 60, they're 5 years older, and now the death benefit's $1.5 million. They're still having to pay for the original $1 million of insurance, and then this other $500,000 on top of it. It's getting more expensive as I get older, and so if I earned an average return of 9, I would not net 8, I would net 7 or whatever. It's gobbling up more of my overall return because the cost keeps going up as I get older because it's the pure cost of insurance. So we would use the level death benefit right off the bat. If you just do the illustrations, you'll see. And so the level death benefit for, let's say, a 60-year-old, if they wanted to reposition $500,000, the minimum death benefit now under Section 7702 under TEFRA and DEFRA is about double that, about $1 million. I could buy way more life insurance than $1 million with $500,000, but that's not the objective. You want the least amount of insurance the IRS will let you get away with. So I can get away with as little as $1 million of death benefit for a 60-year-old male, and they're going to put in $500,000. Why do I want the level death benefit? Listen very close to this. If I put in $100,000 and let's say the cash value is $100,000, okay, then if I die, it's not going to pay out $1.1 million. Agents who don't understand this, they go, "What? So they just confiscated your $100,000 of cash value?" No, I knew that if I died, they would only pay out $1 million. What it means is the $100,000 of cash value became part of the death benefit, but they didn't confiscate anything because I have $100,000 of cash value. The insurance company is only charging me for the cost of insurance of the net amount at risk. When I have $100,000 of cash value on $1 million policy, they're only charging me for $900,000 of insurance now, not $1 million. So even though the cost per thousand goes up, the amount of thousands that they're charging me for has gone down $100,000. Let's go 5 years into it. Actually, if I pay $100,000 the first day of the first year, I'm paying my fifth payment the first day of the fifth year, which is 4 years and 1 day into it, which many of my clients have maximum funded their policies in 4 years and 1 day. So now I have $500,000 in there. Now that I have $500,000 in there, if I die, what's the death benefit under level? $1 million. They're not confiscating my $500,000 of cash value. I love that $500,000 of my cash value becomes part of the original required death benefit because in 4 years and 1 day, the insurance company, if I have $500,000 of cash value, and I'm being simple here, they're only charging me for the difference between $500,000 of cash value and the original death benefit of $1 million. That's only $500,000. Now they're only charging me for half as much insurance as they were 4 years earlier. Does it make sense? So even though the cost per thousand has gone up, the amount of thousands has been cut in half that they're charging me for. So far, so good? Well, let's say I have $500,000 in there. Many of my clients, that $500,000 of cash value doubles to $1 million within 7.5 years at a 9.6% average rate of return. Now I have $1 million of cash value under the level death benefit, and the original death benefit was $1 million. How much is the cost of insurance now? Technically zero. Now, Teffer and Deffer says if I happen to die, the insurance company will pay out 5% more than the original death benefit or the amount of cash value. Now the cash value equals the death benefit. So they'd pay out $1,050,000, but they're only charging me for $50,000 of risk. The rest of it is my own money. I'm self-insured. This is the cheapest way to buy term and invest the difference, okay? Because I am self-insured within 10 years, 12 years at the longest in most of these situations, okay? So if I have $1 million of cash value and the original death benefit was $1 million, okay, the interest on my cash value in that year is so much greater than the actual cost of insurance, which is only $50,000 under Teffer and Defra. The internal rate of return gets better and better as you get older. In fact, I have many clients that are 20, 25, 30 years into their universal life policies. And if they earned 11% in a given year, which frankly we've averaged 11.17 by rebalancing, if in the 30th year they earned 11, they would be netting 10.95 because the cost of insurance in that given year, the interest on $2 or $3 or $4 million dwarfs the net amount at risk, which might only be 100 or 200,000 of coverage. Does that make sense? So if they earned 11, they would net 10.9, but we like to calculate the actual cost of insurance retroactive back to day one. Most of the time, if they earned 11, they would have netted 10, cash on cash, since the very first day when they were only putting in their first premiums. If they earn 9, they'll net 8. If they earn 8, they'll net 7. But that's what I mean. Retroactive back to day one, the cost will be only about 1% of the gross rate of return. If you use the increasing death benefit and you never switch back to the level death benefit, then if you happen to earn 11, you'd only net 8 or 9. If you earned 8, you'd only net 6. The actual cost of insurance would gobble up double, even triple, because this gets more expensive as you get older. This one gets cheaper as you get older. Now, hopefully in this episode, you know the difference. So let's just summarize here. The level death benefit is the perfect choice for an older person that's going to be maximum funding the policy under TEFRA, DEFRA, and TAMRA guidelines within 5 to 10 years. That will be the cheapest way to go and give you the best net internal rate of return. So to say level is the devil is ridiculous for those people, that profile of client. Now, increasing would be for younger people, let's say somebody in their 30s, socking away $500 a month, but when do they switch from increasing to level? At the point in time that they stop paying premiums into the policy, if they're wanting that policy to not implode or get it more expensive as they get older. If you want the best net internal rate of return and the highest payout, if you're using it for living benefit, you switch from increasing to death benefit when you stop paying in the premiums. That's the general rule. So hopefully this has been valuable to you to understand the difference between the two. So many IUL agents don't understand this. Now, if you're a member of the general public and you're going, oh my heavens, this is incredible. Well, first of all, if you want to implement these strategies, I would strongly recommend you talk to an IUL professional that's certified, that is an insider. This is an organization where the creme de la creme, those agents who understand things like this, will not mess it up for you and cause you to buy a policy that's not structured correctly, because it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars at the end of the day if they don't know what they're doing. So if you're a member of the general public, I want you to click on the link below and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling for this book. I'll pay for this book. It retails for $20 on Amazon. I'll cover that. And it's actually 2 books in one. This side is 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations if you're a left brain learner. If you're a right brain learner and you learn more by stories and examples, you flip it over to this one. This has 62 actual client stories of how a properly structured max funded IUL, which then would be called a laser fund, okay, can be the dream solution for many of your financial goals. When you're in there claiming your free copy, you can schedule an appointment with a certified IUL professional. Somebody who I have overseen that understands this term and dozens of other terms. Because if you ask an agent that's trying to propose an IUL and they're trying to sell you the increasing, and you ask them the question between the two, and if they just say, oh, it's because that's the better choice, why? Why is it the better choice if I'm wanting to use this for level? And when do I switch? And if they go never, that's a red flag. Hopefully that's what you're getting. Now, if you are a financial advisor and you're going, oh my heck, I didn't know what I didn't know, I would recommend you check out IUL Insiders. You go to IULinsiders.com and you can learn how to become a certified professional so that you're helping your clients instead of hindering them. And if you're really interested in doing the best for your clients, you've got to understand terminology like this and several dozen other terms that I have in sort of a glossary here on my channel. So this is not about me. This is about you and your brighter future, whether you're a member of the general public or if you are a financial advisor.